Hi, my name is Cesar Testimony, and this is my story. Well, it's been 10 years now since the doctor sent me home with little hope of survival. And it was by God's grace that I sit before you. And for that very reason, I want to share my story with you. It's the story of life given to me by God, a second chance that I grabbed with both hands. You see, there was very little chance of me survival this. The doctors had no more recourse, and they sent me home, waiting for that fateful call, which never happened. And that is why I'm here to tell you my story. In the late 1989, as a young professional, I joined a company by the name of Nando's. You probably know it today. In those days, we were only half a dozen of us. So I am very fortunate to say that I was one of the founder members of Nando's, which is today a global company. We were a bunch of young guys. We had our dreams. We followed the dream of our CEO and leader, fondly known as Robbie. And we landed up conquering the world, so to speak. Nando's today is a global company, and I was part of it. We traveled the world. And my life with Nando's was such that even without knowing it, I was very blessed. I have a wonderful family, a wonderful, beautiful wife, 3 lovely children, a beautiful home, wonderful fast cars. We've been on overseas holidays, Disneyland, Disney World. We've had a blessed life. I had very little to do with the Lord, but my wife realized at a very early time in our lives that the children needed to know the Lord. And while she was going to church on a Sunday, I would grab my bicycle and I would go and ride with my mates for hours and hours and hours. I gave my family all that I could. The one thing I didn't give to them, which I understand now how important that was my time. My wife ended up being the mother and father of the family while I was chasing. Sure, I was providing, but I was living my own dream. And today I realize that I could have done better. Now in 2010, something happened in my life that changed the way I was, that changed who I am, that just changed my life completely. I went from hero to zero overnight. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, a very large brain tumor. It was benign, not malignant. But it was so big that it destroyed a lot of the organs inside my head. My brain was damaged, my pituitary gland was destroyed, my thyroid was destroyed, my body was out of control. Nothing in my body was right. I was gaining weight rapidly. I was just a big mess. And try as the doctors did. And I have a huge respect for doctors, and I love these guys. I think they're wonderful people. But there was nothing they could do for me. And they sent me home. And I was very depressed. You see, all my life I had been super active. If I wasn't working, I was running marathons. If I wasn't running marathons, I was cycling South Africa. If I wasn't cycling South Africa, I was climbing mountains. I was always doing something. Now I was bound to a chair for life with no chance of ever recovering. And that didn't go down well with me. And I thought, you know what, I might as well just die. And in my distress, I longed for death. But then I remembered God. And in my anxiety, I called out, God, you've got to help me. I don't want to die. I want to live. I didn't know that my wife and the Durban North Baptist Church were praying for me, that my mom and her church in Portugal were praying for me, that the Santon Shul and my Jewish friends, they're all praying for me. Everyone's praying. I didn't know that. And God heard that. And He gave me a second chance. And my will to die became a will to live. And miraculously, all the symptoms that were sending me to an early death turned to become a revival. I know it was a miracle in my life. The doctors looked at me and smiled. They couldn't understand. They couldn't understand what was happening. It was a difficult time. It was a very difficult time for me. The recovery was hard and slow. Being an impatient man I struggled through the whole process. My diet was the most horrendous thing that could ever happen to mankind. I couldn't eat the stuff that I was forced to eat. It was just a very hard time in my life. But there was always that light at the end of the tunnel. When my vision came back, I started reading the Bible. I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I love the book of Daniel. I could remember the stories that I learned in primary school. Daniel in the lion's den, David and Goliath, the Tower of Babel, Samson and I could remember all those stories. I read what I could understand. Even today, and I read the Bible daily. I so love that book. I love the word of the Lord. And I'm looking for any material that can help me understand it even deeper. It is by God's grace that I am alive today. It's not medicine. It is the grace of God. Yes, I am on medication for the rest of my life. I can't just live the way I lived before and have no consequence. That is the consequence. But that's a small price to pay. But I have found a new meaning in my life. And today I can't think of living without God. I can't think of living without Jesus. I can't think of living without the Word. Life without Jesus is absolutely meaningless. It's got nothing to it. I'm almost sorry to say that I've had it all. Big homes, fast cars, holidays. I've traveled to World Cups here and World Cups there. All that is meaningless if you don't have the Lord in your life. Well, today, my friends, my Nando's friends call me a holy man. They say I'm a man of God. I kind of like that, to be honest with you. But I have one hope and one dream, and that is that my children get to find the Lord long before their dad did, and not wait till the age of 50 before they found the Lord. There are 2 verses or 2 chapters in the Bible that have walked with me. The first one is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31. For those who walk with the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not be faint. Those words still today touch my soul like no other word. And the other is Psalm 116, which relates to my anxiety with death and how the Lord touched my heart and gave me a second chance. I thank you for listening.